it is time for our second side quest. I'm pretty pumped. This is one that has been a long time coming. There has been some drama between two of the characters on our show for at least the last 4 episodes of season 1. And we decided that it was time to bury the hatchet and see if we can fix this between them before one of them kills the other. So today we're going to have Oliver and Nora together on the show. And it's going to be all based around kind of patching things up between them. He has been gone for that during that year of downtime we had between season 1 and season 2. This is going to be heading the end of that year of downtime. We're going to be taking place during Spite. Spite is a month within Athontia that it's a little different. All the months are based around things that have happened since the Sundering. And Spite specifically is about dealing with the grieving and finding the people who have either murdered or harmed those that have passed and getting a recompense out of it. Well, in this situation, Edward's back, so we're doing a little bit of a reverse. So let's go over to our 2 cast members today. Hi, everybody. Are we all ready?
Ready as I can be.
Gonna drama it up today between you two. I mean,
not too much.
I hope Nora enters the room and just shoots Oliver immediately. She's like, I've been training too, fool. So let's set this scene. I think we talked about this before the show a little bit. We're trying to make these a tight 1 hour if we can. And I think we do this first episode right after the Whisper has been, not only does it have a new engine, Edward has now got his body back. And then Nora had said, hey, the engine, why don't we give Bennett a chance to show that he isn't the bad that we all thought? Because Bennett has done a lot of good for the cast and for the crew of the Whisper, specifically when they were dealing with Twilight during season 1 and fighting off Twilight. He was there, like as the Croak and as himself, making sure shit went right. Yep. So because of that, Nora's like, hey, a little bit of a redemption arc for Bennett. Let's give him the ship. And everyone said yes. Even though I don't think Oliver really wanted it, that's what ended up happening. The ship is different now, as we saw in the first episode of the season and the second episode of the season. Bennett's in charge of the engine, and he made a contract. But at this point in time, I don't think Oliver knows any of that information. He doesn't know any of that shit. But what he does know is his brother's alive. Somehow it's not his fault. And Edward, not Edgar, Edward, went to Nora and said, hey, what would it take for me to hire you to find out what actually happened to me? And I think during this month, it's a perfect time to do that. It puts us at like, I think the eight month mark into our year of downtime, roughly about that time frame. I think it's 7 or 8, something like that. So we're going to start this on the deck of the Whisper, or not the deck, sorry, the captain's meeting room on the Whisper. So I'll take us over to that. And we're in the thick of it. I think we should be in mid-discussion here. We have Edward here, Penelope and Petunia, because as we all know now, Oliver's the prince of the Summer Court, or one of the princes of the Summer Court. Not there's more than one. And he knows that Penelope and Petunia are a part of the Fae Courts, so perfect people to have here. And Edward, I think, understands next to none of this so far.
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah, Edward knows Penelope and Petunia are special, that they're identical, but they have different powers, and he's learned that they can kind of warp wood, and she can come out and talk to the wood and stuff like that, but I don't think he knows much more than that. He knows next to nothing about the Fae Courts, and if I remember correctly, your mother has told him nothing about the Fae Courts. Like, she has done her best to keep her children away from all of the courtliness of being part of that. And because of that, I think Edward doesn't know much.
And then Oliver threw himself into the Fae Courts.
Yeah, and you're like, fuck it, I want to do what mom does. And she's like, oh, but why? God damn it, I've been trying to keep you protected.
That sounds about right.
So with that said, and her trying to keep you safe, we'll start the scene. Edward here. Edward has put down a small chest on the table with the Hastings heraldry on it. And Edward says, I've spoke to Mother about this, and she's in agreement. A little bit of persuading on my end, and peer pressure and guilt. I've learned from the best. That she wants to know not only what happened, but who is the cause of this. We don't have a lot of leads, Nora. And we have reliquaries, but any of the reliquaries that my mother and I have spoke to over the last couple of months, none of them know what's going on. Oliver, Mother said that there is some information about you I don't know, and that it wasn't her place to say. Penelope and Petunia go like this. We've wanted to tell him for so long.
I will say that during this, Nora has her notebook out and is fiddling with her cold iron pen.
Do you have the recorder out? Or not until you're officially hired?
Not until I'm officially hired.
Okay. Fair.
So, brother, Mother has done her utmost to try and keep us sequestered from the drama of her private affairs. That being said, I have thrown myself into the midst of it, and if we are going to be investigating these matters, it's only right that you should know what we're investigating.
Is there a danger or something that I should know about involving these things?
Yes. It is heavily implied that the Fae were involved with our family, given the fact that Mother is a summer queen.
I'm sorry, what are you... You're speaking fairy tales here, kid. Now, Edward's your older brother, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I rolled a whopping 9 for him. He has no idea what you're talking about. Because while heroes and people would venture into Thontia, people start to realize when you leave the cities that there are other shit out there. And they know there's rips in the veil that allow the Fae to come in. But unless you deal with it regularly, you don't know much. Your brother, he is part of the Hand of Air, right? But he's not a marshal or anything, correct?
No, he was a marshal.
He was a marshal, okay. So he would know a little bit then. He'd be like, yeah, I understand what the Fae courts are, but we're not part of them. We would have known that. Like the true faith would have told us.
Not to speak out of...
Go ahead, Nora.
Not to speak out of turn, Air Marshal Hastings.
I'm not Air Marshal anymore.
Well, when she addressed Oliver.
Oh, okay.
Very formally as Air Marshal Hastings. Edward, I have discussed this with your mother. She is very good at hiding her tracks. And I do believe the church does know and tolerates it.
And you and I both know how good Investigator Tenwick is at her job.
Wait, does that mean I'm Fae-blooded as well?
We could look for some sort of marking, but I've found...
I don't know if I would know if I'm marked. Like, that's something you just see, right? Like, in a mirror, other people you're with, friends, partners, swimming at the local pool, which is something that only out-of-character rich people do. Someone would have said something, right?
The conditions to reveal the mark need to be just right for it to appear.
Okay. That's a conversation Mother did not have with me before I came back here to talk to you. She'll be here in a few months for the train anyway, as that's releasing and ribbon cutting ceremony. Since the Hastings are putting money in towards it, she'll be here. I guess I'll talk to her then. Does that have anything to do with this situation and how I passed? Because all I remember is you stabbing me. I remember being bedridden for some time. And I remember people treating me. But a lot of it's very gray or I don't remember at all.
Again, not to overstep. I know I haven't been officially hired yet or have taken the job. But
He slides the crate to you.
I did interview your mother because I know that, as I told you on the Whisper, that your brother has many regrets, and what happened to you was one of the largest. And I talked to your mother to see what had happened, if she had known what had happened, because Oliver was concerned about his, besides of already being as upset as he was, there was a certain vagueness to his recollection that made me want to ask on his behalf. So when I talked to your mother about it, she said that she didn't know exactly what had happened. It was not supposed to end the way that it did.
Well, what is that supposed to mean?
It wasn't supposed to end with your death.
Well, what was it supposed to end with? What was the plan that didn't work? Well, I was supposed to get stabbed and recover and somehow learn a lesson?
You weren't, no. The lesson wasn't for you, Edward. You weren't supposed to get hurt.
And he like turns and looks to Oliver. Wait, the lesson was for the kid? I mean, when he was a kid,
From my
like when it
understanding.
happened.
From my understanding, yes. So between Oliver's recollection and your mother's recollection, I started to think that there may have been some foul play, that perhaps someone had interfered with the duel. That might be why your mother has agreed to hire me for this case if you wish to pursue it.
Oh, I wish to pursue, that's for sure. Oliver, why did you stab me? What was the point of that? Why would you... It was supposed to be first blood, but you know the rules. You nick the man and it's over.
I was given a trinket from Mother to help protect me in the event that I would be attacked with my saber in hand. And not wanting to be bested in my foolish youth, I believed I was fighting for the heart of Marianne. And so I used that
girl. You can have her. You know that I don't. She's far past me now. I was dead. I'm not interested. Is that what this is about, Oliver?
I remember clearly after I was trying to staunch your bleeding, having made a terrible mistake, looking up, and underneath a tree was Marianne smiling.
Yeah, I vaguely saw her running towards us after I was stabbed. Now, you know, out of character, she just faded back into the trees and left. She didn't run out. She didn't make a scene. She looked at you dead in the eyes and
smiled.
And smiled and left.
Yeah. So Oliver's like, no, I'd rather not have Marianne either. I'd rather just figure out whether or not she was involved in your demise.
Hold on a minute. What trinket did you have?
It was a leaf.
And he reaches down and he grabs his like dueling saber from like out of a bag that he has with him and sets it on the table. And he slides it. And on the basket hill, he has the same exact trinket. His is still intact. Mom gave you yours? Yeah, Marianne gave me mine. It is identical, at least in look.
Do you mind if I examine this?
He slides that and the chest even closer to you. Listen, Nora, are you interested in this case? And he like opens the chest and shuts it.
I am.
The inside is not only got gold in it, at the back of the the back of the lid, there is a rolled scroll in there with the Hastings wax symbol stamped on it. He's like, that is the deed to a house and money.
I will graciously accept, as long as Air Marshal Hastings is...
It's not his choice. This is Mother and I's.
I
He
look at...
already was involved in this. If anything, he's a suspect, right? Isn't that how this works? And he just kind of looks at you and like elbows you like semi-jokingly, like he's getting used to being human again.
Investigator Tenwick, you are the best that we know in terms of investigating this sort of affairs, and we would be honored to have your assistance in the investigation of
Right, what he said. And he like puts his arm around his brother a little bit, like that, like kind of jovialness, but he squeezes pretty hard, like doing some limit testing on his place in humanity again.
Malra's face is like classy. He's like, come on, just stop for a moment.
But I'm just saying, she is the best that we know, and Mother said that no one else was allowed to do this case because of her inside knowledge. We're going on a trip, is what I heard. I haven't went anywhere since I've been back.
Understandably so. You're very excited.
So the second thing Mom said is, I'm flying the ship there. Wherever we're going, I'm flying. So it's only right I should be able to touch the wheel instead of being in the pipes.
While they're hashing that out, while they're hashing that out, I'm going to pursue a lead.
All right.
Try and figure out what this trinket is.
Sure.
I'm not a magic user, but I could roll something, either perception or nature, since it's Fey.
Nature is actually very suiting.
Okay. Let's see what I can get. So that's gonna be just because it sounds like Oliver didn't know what the trinket did.
Mm-hmm.
Edward says he has one. They supposedly look the same. I wouldn't know one way or the other from that standpoint, but
Right.
24.
So the feather is a like greenish blue. With a 24, you know it is a large beast known as a Quetzalcoatl. They are a part of the Quetzalcoatl lineage or bloodline of those serpent creatures.
Okay.
These specific ones, like I said, pronounced Shu, are dedicated to seeking out malevolent creatures and offering a final opportunity at redemption. That is what the feathers on them usually are. And the spelling for it is actually Xiuh. It's pronounced Shu as an S-H-O-O. Shuquatl.
Okay.
They are instruments of retribution.
I see.
Now, you could spend some time learning more, but with that check is not enough. Now, I will remind you, we do have the Merrifield stuff. At this point in time, the Lectorum is level 4. It wouldn't be level 6 yet. That just happened on the latest Merrifield, so level 4. You could go there, send out to require a speaker. Think of it like a TED Talk. They bring in an expert to talk about it, and it allows you to make another roll, and you get information even on failure. But it's specific to who you hire. It takes a week to have somebody come in, and the talk is 2 hours. The other option is you could go to the college and study there. That is another option. That'll allow you to make a check at a +2, but you can only do one or the other in this circumstance. Like you do one and then go do the other, you just can't stack the bonuses.
Right. What would be quicker?
Quicker would just be going to the academy, the college and studying yourself, like taking the time to look over stuff, taking a couple hours, pulling all the documents and books and stuff that can be found on these creatures, and then doing it that way. That would be the fastest, I think, to it.
I think that's what Nora is going to do. Specifically because of the tension between her and Oliver, still just kind of be like, all right, get this off my plate and then go do my own thing again. So
okay. So which college first?
Nora's going to say like, and she'll say like, this trinket, Quaddle, something about redemption, or used as instruments of retribution. I can't recall quite more than that. I can take it to the college and do a little bit more research, or we can hire somebody, but that would take about a week's time. I would prefer to go to the college, see what else I can dig up on my own. I'm very, I want to say concerned, but this instrument of retribution, and I'm like kind of circling it in my notebook, that is very interesting to me. Because if the tokens were swapped at some point, perhaps the trinket that Air Marshal Hastings had is not the one that he or his mother thought it was.
Well,
maybe
Mary
that was
Ann
used to
close
guide
to
his
mom.
Maybe that's what guided his blade. But I need to do more research to confirm. Is it all right if I check this in as evidence and take it to the college? You can come with if you would like.
It's all yours. So I do have a question. Has Oliver trained in nature at this point, being that he is Fae? Because he might actually have some insight now, because if he's going to start being like a liaison for the Fae courts, he might have started studying some nature. But I don't know if you put points into that yet.
Not
points, I should say, training.
He might have picked up knickknacks because he has untrained improvisation, so he might have just picked up things here or there.
You can make a roll if you want.
But as far as actual training, not yet.
Okay.
Holy shit, 27.
Wow. Okay, so the one your brother has is exactly the same, except that while his is like the green to blue, almost like a parrot's feather, like a green and blue parrot's feather, yours was blue to like a deep black and purple. Same feather, same style, the way it's carved and trinkets the same. That is because yours is from a different quaddle. Yours is from a mixed quaddle. A mixed quaddle is known for having an extremely powerful poison. But the trinkets look identical. Colors are a little different, but the carvings and the way they're put together are the same. You know that assassins, or specifically half-elves from the courts, half-elves in Athontia, when they are sent out to the material, they are usually sent out as assassins to get a job done and come back because they can walk amongst normal humans and look like they belong. So with that said, if yours was a poison, I can tell you that you know the poison causes people to become stupefied and stunned. And it does a severe amount of damage to someone's mental capacities, sometimes permanent. And he did say he saw her run forward and all these other things. And he also stopped fighting as soon as you stabbed him. Now,
So
would you got a
that's-
27, you said, right?
Yeah, he got 27.
Here's the big one. There is something about mixed quaddles called mish quaddles, is how it's pronounced, mish quaddles. They have the ability to modify someone's memories.
Investigator Tenwick. In my training with Mother, to learn about the Fae, I've learned something known as mishquaddles. And these creatures have extremely potent feathers. whose toxins can weaken, hamper, and modify memories. I have reason to believe that that was the feather that I had, and the poison that was used on my brother Edward.
Well, that would definitely fit the narrative so far. And you said you received this from your mother?
Edward says, yeah. Yeah, well, mine was from Mary Ann.
Mine was from Mother.
Yeah, but Mary Ann made mine. No, at least that's what she said.
Was it Mother?
I need a will save.
Unfortunately, I have nothing to help with that.
I will use an Oliver hero point.
Yeah, yo.
7. Let's see if we can do a little better.
I mean, I hope.
25? 25.
20. 25 is pretty good. So is that high enough? Is the real question. 25. So it's been a long time, and as you start to recall the memories, you can feel your back warm as the Fey birthmark starts to heat up. And the memories that were pulled start to come back. You remember stabbing Edward. What you don't remember in turn is him stabbing you. He got you in the side. Remember, you were hospitalized for a little while. You remember that, the wound was hurt, but it wasn't horrible. Remember people treating you. You do remember now them saying something about poison.
Oh. My head hurts. No, Nora,
Are you feeling ill? Do you need medical
No, he probably
assistance?
drank too much knowing Oliver.
No,
That's what Edward says.
A fight, brother. It's coming back to me. You stabbed me as well.
Of course, I never miss. I stabbed you in the side, of course.
And
you see the feather on the trinket start to dissolve.
And then I fell ill and was also hospitalized alongside you.
Yeah, you were laying in bed next to me. Yeah, you were on the opposite bed. We shared a room. We were in the west wing of the estate. We had personal medicals. So we always have personal medical.
Edward, I didn't recall any of that until just now.
Yeah, you were unconscious for like 2 months almost.
Excuse me,
maybe it
gentlemen.
was a month.
Are these tokens supposed to dissolve like
Yeah,
this?
after use.
Like right now? When did you use
And he
it?
looks down and he goes, "Oh, I didn't use it."
Can I scrape up a little bit into a tube, like from my detective's kit?
You can try. It takes arcane
To scoop
for
it up?
this. Well, to make it stay, because they just dissolve. Trinkets become unusable after use. I would say you could give me a.
Can I do recall knowledge arcana to see if I can
say a
figure it
recall
out?
knowledge on arcana. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna spend a Nora hero point on that because that
There
is
you
a
go.
fucking 4.
Hey, Nora hero point.
I'll take that. I got 32.
So you scrape it up. You take some of the wine that you guys have here, pour it in the bottle, and basically put it in and put it in a sealed container in liquid so it can't disperse anywhere. And you fill it, like you submerge it and fill it and cap it in the wine. Or in whatever it is you're drinking to make sure that there's nowhere for it to dissolve to. And you can see part of the feather half dissolved floating in the liquid, and it is kept. This means that this trinket had a very long duration. And him making his will save caused the trinket to finalize.
Okay.
So the poison stages for these are usually in rounds. Whoever made this trinket is very trained in poison crafting or in trinket making, because otherwise this would have dissolved after he struck you. That means it hit you, it went off, and it has been active ever since. Edward goes, well, yeah, I just assumed that the trinket was a permanent thing. I didn't expect it to dissolve, but Mary Ann gave me that one when I proposed to her. Maybe like a week later, she gave me the trinket before I went. Well, I was supposed to be leaving.
So I feel like we need to have a long talk with Mary Ann.
It dissolved when Air Marshal Hastings remembered being ill.
Well, does that mean that the trinket finally was used?
Either it was used or it finished its purpose.
Shit.
And I would have tried since Oliver is rich, I would have put it in clear water.
Whatever
because
you
then
wanted
I
to
can
put it
still that way I can still look at the colors because I want to see if it's changed colors since it finished activating.
Yeah, you guys definitely have water on the ship. We can totally retcon that. 100%, it's water. Totally fair. It just needs to be submerged so it has nowhere to go.
Right. Well, I want to put it in some sort of clear water so I can see if the trinket color has changed.
Putting it in a potion would work really well too.
I just want to be able to see if it's changed since the trinket has now finished its job.
Slowed down. It's basically like if you look at the spine of the feather, there's feathers on one half and the other half is gone.
I meant like the color. If the color had changed.
Color's still there. Nope, still there.
Color's still there. Okay.
Yep, still that blackish to blackish to like a midnight purpley look.
Okay. Well, because the
His
one
was
that
blue
he
and
showed
green
us,
originally.
It was originally, and now it's okay.
The blackish purple.
Then I take the carafe of water with the cap on it, and I say, "Well, gentlemen, the token color has changed."
Well, they were identical before, so maybe when use, that's when it does that. Edward's like, I say, if you need to go to the academy to study, do it. But I think we just go find Mary Ann and have a one-on-one.
I believe with the information Air Marshal Hastings has recalled, and the fact that we just saw it change literally before our eyes, I feel that it would be prudent to go talk to her.
So I would say time-wise, if you wanted to go to the academy, if you go, here's how it works. The academy grants a +2 circumstance bonus to skill checks made to borrow an arcane spell, create a forgery, decipher writing, identify alchemy, identify magic, learn a spell, or recall knowledge checks as long as a PC is performing the action on site. You can do that if you want. It takes an hour to 2 hours depending on your check. While they're prepping the Whisper, you could technically go there and do that.
Okay. Then I will head there while they're preparing. Just between the little bit that I had recalled and then what Oliver had recalled, I feel pretty secure in what we've come up with. But this will let me take just a little bit more time to be sure.
Gotcha.
And it'll get me off the Whisper.
So, Penelope looks at the piece you're looking at, the torchlight inside of the Whisper, and she goes, can I go with you to the academy? I know I'm not allowed in there, and you being part of being you, they'll probably let you in, and you might be able to bring me. I think I might know a little bit of something about this.
All
I
right.
think. Not 100%, but coatls are used usually as people or creatures who speak on behalf of the Fey courts. They're usually not hostile, but if they have to be, they're very dangerous creatures. And there's regular coatls, but the Mishi and the Shu are totally different. The Mish are a celestial style quaddle, an angelic of forms, and the other ones are more of a beast or creature. They're very different, but they are two sides of the same coin. I wonder if maybe we can find out a little more. Many Fae worship them as she kind of looks around. She's like, as deities.
More information. Good to know. Good to know. Yes, of course. If you wish to accompany me to the academy, I'll see if I can get a pass for the both of us. And while we're walking there, I guess I would try and pick her brains a little bit. Like,
Sure.
are either of these quaddles that we've discussed, are they normally used by the Court of Night?
Oh. Well, here, let me. So if you're walking with her, I will go to the toucan. So as you're traveling there, she follows with you. It's Penelope. She says, and Petunia would stay back on the ship with Oliver. And and what was your question for her?
As we're walking, I'm like, so, Penelope, these quaddles, are any of them either the ones that we've discussed in the captain's quarters or any other ones? Are they used as messengers by the Court of Night?
Oh, I mean, all of the Fae courts use them, but there are Fae that worship them like gods. They are like celestial beings to some Fae because of their power. As for the courts using them as messengers, no, they usually use them as they're people that they're creatures that they go to get information. Each one of the Mish Coatls are specialized in something, but they can grant knowledge to someone, so they're more the envoy that sends out assassins for the Fae courts. Basically, they bestow the information of who the mark is directly to that half-elf before they leave. Listen, I don't know if Marianne is a half-elf, but they're very good at hiding who they are. But I would not be surprised seeing the evidence, she says, like proud walking with you.
Yeah, I mean, so it's the Mish. Is it all quaddles, or is it the Mish that are more the oracles for the...
Mish and specifically, all of them are worshipped, but Mish and specific are looked at as kind of the envoys and the master of sending out assassins for the courts. They're very beautiful creatures, star-filled bodies, black and like nimbus clouds flow through their scales, but very dangerous. And as you guys get to the academy's on the northwest side of Merrifield. Merrifield would be out right now because they're building that huge ring wall around it at this point. So when Everson grabs a lantern, takes it with you as a grave lighter, they have the ability to have the place protected. And when you get to the school, no one's actually been to the academy in game yet, I don't think. It is what was an old farmhouse that they have redone and built other pole barns, and some of the silos have been turned into multi-storied classrooms where they teach people. One of these silos is a library. And it's a multi-story library in a silo. And at the front door, there is a Azure Order Thomas guarding. When they see you and you show the badge, they don't even question. They just let you in.
Okay.
And then The ring that you have on, for everyone who is a grave lighter, they all have a ring, a bracelet, not a ring, a bracelet that matches the color of their lantern. This isn't Green Lantern Corps, it's not like that. But the bracelet that's on it flares, and you start hearing people speak in Hallow. You understand Hallow, and you hear some of the people who are trapped in the lantern that aren't allowed to come out physically, people who are actually imprisoned. And specifically, you hear the Inquisitor's voice.
I hear Inquisitor Briar.
Pyre, yes, Inquisitor Pyre.
Wait, so Pyre's trapped in here? I thought he was trapped in the staff.
Not. We'll get to it eventually. You'll know something ahead of the schedule. You hear Pyre's voice, and he goes, listen, while you and I don't speak a lot, while stuck inside of this, as I've learned, purgatory, I've learned a little bit. I know Oliver had me murdered, but I don't think, looking at what you are investigating, that it may have been his fault. Quaddle are dangerous, kill on sight for the true faith. Their ability to manipulate the memories and thoughts of mortals is something that we see as a danger. These celestial creatures are something that, if left unchecked, change entire cities and cultures into worshiping them. I believe maybe the Hastings might be under the influence of one of these creatures. And as you walk through the door, obviously librarians would come up to you and ask what you're looking for and gather all the books for you, because that's their job.
Right.
They're students of here. Pyre says, Briar, on the other hand, when we swapped spots, he does not believe that my investigations are true. And he seeks to make sure the Hastings family is wiped from the true faith. I'm warning you of this because I believe he is wrong.
Thank you for your, and like back and forth, like mentally, I'm like, thank you for your insight, Inquisitor Pyre. This is very concerning.
It should be. We fought over who gets to stay and who gets to go. I unfortunately lost.
I see. Do you know where Inquisitor Briar is then?
Oh yeah, he took residence within the staff. I'm assuming Voss doesn't know.
No, I don't think he does.
Voss had spoke about bringing me out of the staff and giving me a body. I would not, as much as this is against my code, recommend letting Briar out until you can prove Hastings' innocence.
Noted. I will be sure to contact the professor post-haste. Pyre, you say this may have been affecting him this entire time?
My belief, I noticed there was an enchantment on him when I stood behind him a few different times, manifesting myself out of anger. I noticed that there was an enchantment upon him that I could not put my finger on. Hearing the little bit of information, and excuse me for eavesdropping, but anyone connected to the lantern, it is a two-way street, and a lot of you have now learned to turn off that two-way street. You're early into your training. I think he was enchanted since he struck his brother, the entire time. I also think that enchantment has the ability to affect others. Just be weary anytime you question someone that the Quaddles have not swayed their memories or changed them entirely.
Inquisitor Pyre, one last question. I'm not sure if you'd know this or not.
Mm-hmm. And so people outside of it are like, here you go, Nora, Miss Tenwick, here's your books, here's everything on the
And I'm like
quaddles that
taking
we can
notes while I'm
find."
having this simple conversation.
And Penelope has just been talking the entire time. I doubt you've heard any of it. It's just all nonsensical bullshit that she's talking about, but she is helping get the right books.
Okay. These creatures are very powerful. Do you know how well they work against technology?
How so? What do you mean?
Say I were to, and this is where I'm coming in with my clockwork recorder.
Oh,
Say I were to
God.
take a mechanical device such as a clockwork recorder and use it to record a conversation that I've had with someone who's been touched by this, or perhaps I've been touched by this, and our memories are altered, where I think I may have talked to someone about, where they were the night of the 27th, and they were actually the night of the 29th. Would their power overwrite the wax cylinder?
So
It's a purely mechanical device.
the words that are spoken under a Coatl's gift or taking of knowledge, you speak the true words of what's happened. So there's a chance it may record it. That is very ingenious. We use recorders all the time against creatures who are possessed by demons, because many times the words that are spewed versus what is actually said are different. Zone of truth also is a good technique to deal with things like this, if it is powerful enough.
Unfortunately, I am not a caster, so I don't know if they want to hire one on. But I do have a recorder that I can bring with me. It's hidden in a book.
Well, if you were to bring her, or I should say them, near the lantern, we could interrogate them.
Don't know, and this is before this, so
The
I
lantern
don't know if
can't leave right now, so you would have to bring her
it's
to
more like
Merrifield.
it's more like, had I known this, I would have been like, let's just interview her when she came with the family. But since this is prior to,
We could fast forward to that.
I'm not sure if she'd be willing to make the trek out here, although she might be elated to see Edward again. I'm not. Let me see if we can put some feelers out and bring her to Merrifield. But if we can't, then I know I've at least got one ace up my sleeve. Thank you very much, Inquisitor. I do appreciate your assistance.
I would be willing to extract her soul and bring it into the lantern for you.
I do not know how that would.
I would incinerate her
Oh, okay.
body so that all that's left is the soul and the lantern could absorb it.
If this is tied up as I believe it might be in political machinations, I don't know if that would be a wise decision.
Why?
But I will keep that in mind.
The Fae hold no sway over the true faith or the theocracy.
With my legal lore,
You don't even need to roll this.
I don't even need
you
to roll.
would know that technically assassinating anyone is overstepping boundaries no matter the treaty or the truce. So if he was to be like, and fuck you for trying to assassinate two people who are part of the true faith at a high-ranking position, incarceration.
Right, but it's more like, I don't know if we can do that until we absolutely have proof, and I
Correct.
don't know if getting that proof would, like, if we got that proof by burning her and incinerating her and dragging her soul, like, I don't know if that would go very well. So that's where I'm going with it. Like, I would like a little bit more solid proof
It's a
before we
gray
go
area.
to incinerating her and dragging her soul.
So Nora, then I guess make me your check here. I got the Merrifield dock opened. If you're going to study at the academy, right now it grants a +2 circumstance bonus to skill checks made. So if you are using a arcane skill to study, or actually nature in this case,
I would be using nature.
there is someone here who can assist you. They critically succeeded, so that bumps it from a +2 to a +3.
Okay,
And basically, these are people aiding you in your research.
right.
And then we'll switch back.
I'll
to
take a
Fleet.
34.
All right. So here's what you know. Quaddles are very dangerous. They're very powerful. The mix quaddle or the mish quaddle is the one that is known for knowledge in arcane arts. They are very powerful, but they're not as powerful as the Shu, which is vengeance. Mechanically, you're talking creature 8 versus creature 12. And as for their actual abilities, one in the Fey Courts are used to give out jobs to assassins, half-elves for the Fey Courts. That is the Mish. While the Shu Quaddle is usually feathers are plucked and given to assassins as tokens or marks or important pieces to get redemption on assassinating people when the marks are deemed from the courts. If she did not have an actual Shu one and it was covered, this is an inside decision and not made by the courts.
Okay, so I'm understanding. The Mish token is used to send out assassinations. The Zhu feathers are for like, hey, this is sanctioned by the courts against the courts.
Sanctioned killing. Here is a token to take with you. Usually you become what is called an instrument of retribution. You go out and strike down this person. What it does is whatever trinket is attached to turns into a +2 greater striking flaming shock weapon. Okay. That is what that trinket would turn it into. But that's not what happened. Everybody would have seen that. Instead, when it's done, you're guessing the gift of knowledge, which is modified memory, happens. And that modified the memory of the siblings. That would be your guess.
Okay.
So there is definitely gray spots, and it was caused on purpose.
Okay.
This was not a sanctioned job.
All right.
You needed a 30 for that, so good on you.
All right. Woo! Thank you. Thank you, Lectorum. You're the best.
Yeah. Oh, no, this was Lectorum. This is the Academy.
Oh, the Academy. Thank you, Academy. You're the best.
So that takes us back. I'm assuming Nora would come back with this information back to the trio. Penelope would talk your ear off the whole way back. I do need a perception check for Penelope while you are walking around.
Okay.
Especially with the new information.
28.
Penelope and Petunia are different Fae now. They've come back. They are more in sync with their abilities. They seem to be able to do what they need to do. Their ability to be and morph on the ship, cool the engine when it's needed. They're overall have way more control over their Fae-like powers. And she has been talking your ear off. And between questions and things that you ask back to keep conversation going, what you have learned is that they have been reaccepted into the Fae courts for some reason or another, which they don't divulge. They say they can't. But because of that, their powers are considered granted back to them again.
Okay.
And they are to assist the prince. That is their job. Oliver probably would already know this, I assume, because you've been dealing with Penelope and Petunia so much. But their job is to assist the prince no matter what. They're basically like his right and left hands for the court.
Okay.
So I would have to ask Nora, how much of this information do you bring back and how much do you tell the boys?
I mean, they hired me to
solve a problem. Not necessarily share information. If you think it would hurt the case.
Okay, so I don't mention the part about Pyre saying you bring her here and I can grab her soul and incinerate her and get the truth that way. Like, I keep that completely out of the conversation. Okay. I would say my research at the Academy has led me to understand a little bit more about how these quaddles work and how they hand out their knowledge, or in certain cases, their assassinations.
Yep.
And that the attempts made on Edward and Oliver, there's a good chance they were not sanctioned.
Right.
And that's what I'm telling them.
Yeah.
I feel
Edward's
that
questions.
either Marianne may have not known. I don't know her. I haven't met her. I don't know how knowledgeable she is or how good she is at pretending that she doesn't know what she knows. It could have been
I
something.
think Edward would say, well, I mean, I was with her because she was smarter than I was and beautiful. I mean, that's the end of the day. She was able to help me when social graces were not really my forte, or definitely more Oliver's when he felt like using them than myself. And I used her as a crutch for that. But now I'm seriously questioning intent.
Well, with these potential assassinations, unsanctioned, being carried out, with the interactions that Air Marshal Hastings had back at the Golden Horse, I could reasonably assume that it had something to do with the Court of Night, although I don't have any proof of that, just a gut feeling. We would have to talk to Miss Potts, I think, either to figure out if she has any information, if she knew about it. I was hoping perhaps she didn't, but as you said, you used her for social graces, so there's a very good chance that she could be lying when we talk to her.
Yes.
I will be bringing a recording device along to record the conversation. There's really no laws that I can think of right now that would prevent me from doing that. But I would still like to get your permission, with the two of you at least.
Well, are we going to head back to, Edward says, back to where we fought? Or do you have a better plan?
We could bring her here.
She does not know I'm alive yet.
So we could bring her here, saying that you have made a miraculous recovery. That might throw her off her game, but the travel time might give her a chance to compose herself. I'm thinking perhaps we use the month of Sturge, or not Sturge, use the month of Strife. Ask her to meet up where the duel originally happened. We can reveal your return there. As painful as this might be for the two of you, I think that might be the best way of throwing her off guard, where maybe even her social graces can't cover.
Well, Oliver, I don't know about you, but I don't have any hard feelings. We're duelists by nature. We're trained to duel and fight to answer political issues, and that winning a duel is an honorable way to do stuff. We were duped. That wasn't even an honorable fight. I obviously would have beat you.
Oh, really, brother?
Well, I mean, one could hope.
It was rigged from the start that we might kill each other.
So technically speaking, we would duel a second time, right?
You could set up a second duel.
Where are you going with this?
Well, if she failed, she may try to do it again. I'm not the smartest, but I do know how to play someone against their own game.
And Nora points at Edward like that's kind of what I was thinking.
What do you think? Let's see if you're as good as you say you are.
Are we going to get fake feathers?
Oh, no, I don't think she needs to know any of that.
I think what happens, if what I'm picking up what Edward is laying down, is that the two of you just show up at the same place where you held your duel.
Show
and
up?
Say, well,
no, we make it an event.
Or make it an event. Regardless, I'm trying to make sure that she can't tamper with your weapons before this happens. So I was thinking more of a spur of the moment sort of deal. But if you are both sure that she won't be able to sneak on any extra charms,
Well, we could use dueling pistols.
I have an idea.
I'm listening.
So if we're going to stage a duel, and she doesn't know that Edward's alive yet, but she knows that I am alive and well, maybe I send her an invitation to the fountain.
I think it should be for the fight, though. I think she should know, basically, because of my death, and the fact that I am yet alive again, that means that that duel is null and void. And the fact that there's possible treachery around it, we have decided that we go a second time. First blood, no murder, we're brothers. That was not supposed to happen. And for the Hastings name, it would help mend a lot of the issues that have been left behind.
I don't know if making public that our duel was tampered with and that we are under siege from assailants of a foreign political entity would be.
You don't mention that. You don't mention that part.
Only to her.
Hastings.
Just her. We could just give her that information. Oh no, because then she would know.
That's why I'm saying either we just have the duel somewhat spontaneously. She shows up, as Oliver was saying, invite her as a chance to remember past times. You show up somewhat dramatically, saying, now that I'm back, it's time to have a reduel. We never finished it properly the first time around. Fight for her hand or whatever. We'll gauge how she responds to that.
Oliver, have you
And go
spoken
from
to her
there.
since my passing?
I have. We've been exchanging letters for some time, though I've been distant for the last year or so while I was training under DAG.
Maybe you're back from working for the air marshals for a little while. I mean, you have been out training for over a year.
And then, as I take Marianne out to a date to the fountains, an airship arrives overhead, and down from the airship comes Edward. Or we might duel again.
If
That
you want to be
way-
dramatic about it.
You're the one who wanted to be dramatic about it. It's spontaneous.
You have it being dramatic.
It's
You
true.
have the Hastings potentially smoothing things over. I'm not quite sure. But this way...
Because that duel is considered dishonorable because it wasn't good, I will claim that it was a dishonorable duel and ask for another
Well,
one. And he
okay,
can't
so-
say no because that is the rule of the duel.
Right, so then we have that, but then by doing it this way, we don't necessarily announce that you're under siege by outside forces or that there's been any internal fighting or turmoil. I feel like this is a good compromise between dramatic entrance, keeping people in the dark unless they absolutely have to be in the dark. And although you both say it'll only go to first blood, if someone were to interfere, I do have some medical expertise. I would be on site to help triage if things were to be sabotaged again.
What if we use training foils? She wouldn't know the difference. They don't do lethal.
If she's not an assassin, she would not know the difference. But if she is the one who did this, she
Could
knows what she's
Calco
doing.
put an illusion on our blades?
Oh no, they might be able to do a ritual or something.
We're skilled enough. Let's just not hit each other, is what he says.
I'm just sitting here like, I'm really glad I'm gonna have my medical kit on me.
It went so great the first time. So
That's
then,
fair.
I like the idea. You take her to a date. You have to get her to accept. The Whisper can be parked in the area. Or I can just be in the park. I could just walk out from behind one of the trees. She would be stunned alone from that. She thinks
But
I'm
you
dead.
also wanted to pilot the Whisper.
Yeah, I'm flying as to Cadra. That's what's...
Don't crash my ship.
Oh, then we won't have to worry about this problem at all.
I
I'm
understand
kidding.
you were my ship for a long period of time.
Listen, I never crashed your ship. You did twice while I was in it.
Technically, one of those times was the Croak.
I didn't see that, so it's still your fault. That's all right. You're a better pilot now, or maybe. But I am definitely better than you. I've never crashed a single ship. But
Regardless,
we're wasting Nora's time. Let's Let's do it. Do we have a way to have Mother write the invitation for you? Or you have correspondence. Send the correspondence in advance to the Ethergraph. Have the Ethergraph sent it to Marianne. Marianne is staying with Mother. It's perfect. Oh, you don't know that, do you? Marianne is currently living at the Hastings estate with a child.
I was actually made aware of that.
You were?
Sometime.
I don't know whose it is.
That's the question that I've been asking all this time. By the way, this belongs to you, brother. And
What do you hand him?
the necklace that Oliver took off of his corpse
Oh,
so fucking long ago.
it's yours now. Memories.
Of brighter times?
You're right. Let's just melt it.
Let's melt it.
And with that,
Actually-
I think we okay. Oh, what, Nora? Before we cut to the whisper taking off.
I would like to check that out as possible evidence. Make sure there's nothing hidden in that necklace.
All
That's just
right,
me.
give me your check.
Oliver
They're like,
just threw it over.
let's melt it. And I'm like, pardon me. And I just pluck it from in between them.
Hilarious, by the way, that you did that because I was ready to melt this thing.
One man's trash is another man's investigative material.
I'm the trash man.
A 26 perception.
So it is magical,
Okay.
and it has some form of divination power on it. With a little bit of work and asking like Penelope and them, they're like, oh, those necklaces. Yes, those are specifically made by the Fey Courts for the bloodline to find others of their bloodline in case they're in danger. So like think like locate object, but for people. Well, for Fey. Well, specifically the Summer Court. Specifically the Hastings family. Ooh, Edward, that means you're Fey.
Yeah, we tried explaining it to him.
You might want this necklace back then, Edward.
Why? So I can be tracked? Melt that shit. No one knows I'm alive besides this group.
That is a very good point. Actually, I'm going to.
Attach it to a dove and have
Nora
it fly
has
off.
just found something
no,
that that Eric didn't plan for.
I'm going to put it in my ceiling chest.
And what does that do, Nora?
So I have the level 7 one.
Okay, it's a level 5
So
item.
these containers are used when transporting samples and relics. The containers are soundproof, airtight, and studded with lead sheets, mistletoe, and other materials that block magical auras. Up to one book of objects can be placed inside a ceiling chest. The magic auras and curses of any objects placed within the chest cannot extend beyond the box unless they're greater level than the chest itself.
That's magical.
To track Edward ruined.
Because we don't know if it's being used by his mother, which I could understand him wanting to get rid of it, or it could be used by Marianne because she lives with them.
Right? No, yeah, I hear it. I hear it in my head, and I hate it, but I hear it. So Edward would go up to the helm, and he would be like, he looks at himself, he's like, Edward. He's like, yes, Edward. Make the ship fly. I can't do that anymore, Edward. You have to use the wheel. Well, thank you, Edward. I never thought I would fly by hand again after being killed. I know, it is quite amazing. And then you hear Bennett go, will you just fly the fucking ship? Just fly it. And you hear, he agrees. Fly the fucking ship. God damn it, man. And Bennett would walk past you. He'd place a hand on Oliver's shoulder and he goes, I promise I'll make sure he doesn't crash the ship. This guy hasn't touched the helm in years.
Thank you, Bennett. Appreciate
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, I can't promise as he passes you that the Croak agrees, and he keeps walking.
that. The crack has already crashed my ship once.
And the ship takes off from the air tower in Merrifield and makes its way to Cadra. So we will scene swipe over to the fountain, which we've had on the screen here for a little bit, just so everybody is back to it. In the winter months, the snow has fallen, things are frozen over. It has that kind of oily sheen again. Same exact place. The message has been sent out to Marianne that you want to meet because you're back from your tour, your time in training. I need to know who wrote this letter, how well it was written, because I am going to have her make a roll versus this letter. Does Oliver write it? Does he use diplomacy and write this? I mean, as we found out last episode, none of us knew for fucking 13 episodes. Apparently, Oliver is the man when it comes to any form of diplomatic anything.
Yeah, he is.
I was literally taken back. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? So if that's the case, give me diplomacy, I would assume. Right?
It'd be diplomacy for persuasion, yes.
Yeah, for persuasion, yeah. Do you have any special skills? I will start our victory condition tracker.
So while he's looking that up, is the game plan between Edward, Oliver, and Nora, is it for Nora to sit on the sidelines and just observe, or to question after the duel has completed?
That is a really good question. So if that's the case, I guess let's see how well you write this letter. I think that's the most pivotal part out of what we need. Yep. Give me your persuasion roll here, Captain Rich Boy. The finest of what lettering, the finest of inks, the best paper and parchment, sent with doilies and flower petals.
Perfumed
and wax sealed by the Hastings crest.
34.
Okay, so that is really high. That is versus. Ooh.
It's been so long. How are you doing? How's the baby?
That is, that's a good question, Oliver. Do you mention the kid or no? Or does Oliver know about the kid? Edward doesn't think you do, but you probably know.
Yeah, Oliver knows about the kid.
All right. So if you know about the kid, you write a letter on the ethergraph. I'm assuming you tell her to respond with one in Cadra under the private Hastings ethergraph, and you'll get it when you arrive.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Are you going to key your mother into this at all, or no?
She's helping to fund. Yeah, she's helping to fund the investigation. So yes.
No? I would recommend no. Not because I don't trust your mother. It's because if Marianne is close to your mother.
Oh.
That's why I had taken that locket and put it in the ceiling chest. Not because I don't want your mother to track Edward. I don't want Marianne to possibly track Edward.
I hold on a minute here. I'm a single camp. For those that don't know, Kelly has played way too much Shadowrun in her life. And the paranoia level is so high that when she plays Investigator Tenwick, all of her time as a face in Shadowrun comes out and fucks over the GM's plans. I'm just saying. That's what happens. So anyway, back to us as a group. Yes, Nora, that is an amazing idea.
Good point, Nora. We're not going to do that at all. No, I will not be telling my mother anything.
God damn it. So,
she might already know that that Edward's alive and they're trying to figure something out. But this way, she might have a little inkling, but she won't know what's going to happen tonight.
So as you arrive in Cadra, the flight, let's make that pivotal roll. I'll use his one hero point.
Oh my god.
Because that 2 was bad. He's like, oh yeah, and he starts to steer into the tower, and you see Bennett's ghost hand come up and grab the helm and start turning it the other way, and he looks back to you and goes, He does fly well once he's going. It does come back. It is like riding a bike, except he almost took down the tower in Merrifield. As you guys head away from Merrifield and the long trek back to Cadra, there's a lot of talking, conversing, and planning. When you land in Cadra and you go to the ether graph, when you land, there's one at the bottom of the air tower in Cadra. There is a letter or a message waiting for you. Do you go into the room and take the message privately, or do you take Nora with you and Edward? Because they are a vocal message left behind by a spirit.
Yeah, we're gonna take the whole team. Well,
you can. I mean, you definitely can. It's like a booth, like a phone booth. It's open, and you see their two heads looking inside, and you opening it up to listen to it. And it's like one of those Bell style, almost like payphones back in the day, and you'd take it off the hook, and you could listen to it, and you'd hear a voice.
Nora for sure.
Not gonna take Edward.
Yeah, fuck it, Edward too.
All right.
Yeah.
So you take them all, and it simply says, "It says, I am so excited to hear that you are back, Oliver. I have missed your touch. You have not seen me in over a year. As for the child is doing fine, although I still do not know if it's yours or your brother's. I believe that Edward would want it raised, at least in your name, but I named him Edward in honor of your brother.
So
I'd love to have dinner with you when you're in town. I will meet you. And what restaurant did you say? Let's go to this restaurant.
Oliver, should we go to the one where we had dinner with the ambassador?
I mean, you're rich enough to do it. Well, so it won't be at the fountain right away. Let me take us to the lovely. Gosh. Hey, I got it on the first click. We're good. Boom. Sure, we can go here. Why not?
Well, I mean, it's more to like, I didn't know if we were gonna like transition to the map or what, but it's definitely like trying to make it look like Oliver's like, oh, I've missed you. Oh,
I
want to reconnect. Really play it up, and then that just throws her more off her game when she shows up at the fountain. That's why Nora suggested it.
Yeah. Do you remember what this place is called, Oliver? That is a real good question, right? This was a side quest.
This was a side quest.
8.
I know that Sutton's family owned it.
Sutton's family does own it. You are correct. I will look it up as we set the scene at the dinner party. The title is Dun Dun Dun. So as we set up here and you make your reservation, they ask if you wanted the estate room, the courtly estate room, which is the one that you had the dinner with the ambassador. They set it aside for you. I'm assuming the two of you are there first, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Nora, would you be here for the dinner? Would you be in another room? Would you be in one of the other tables in the estate room? Because she's never met you, as far as I know. She probably only knows you by name. So you being here by happenstance would make sense, unless she knows that you all are working together, if Oliver has mentioned that at some point in time.
I mean, so here's the thing. We haven't actually had a chance to try and mend our bridges, so even if at one point Oliver did say, hey, I'm working with Investigator Tenwick, she's super smart, like, or whatever he says about me, or she's really cranky about her crime scenes. Me being there now, because we are on the outs and I'm still mad at him, wouldn't necessarily even matter.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Are you in the same courtly room, or are you in one of the other rooms?
I have enough money at this point for this. I feel like it's worth splurging.
Okay. So if you want the private room with the full dinner, it's 100 gales per person.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and Nora's like, please.
I mean, to solve this and pin her potentially, or at least figure out who did it,
right?
It's worth it.
Right.
And I think I actually bought higher clothing. So no, I've got fancier clothing for this now.
So as you show
than I
up,
did before.
she shows up promptly. She does not have the kid with her. Obviously, someone's watching it. She would show up, and I think the scene's pretty easy. Like, she's excited to see you. You've done a pretty good job of wooing her to be here. You have not totally swayed her over yet. She talks about young Edward, that he has been doing well, that he's sitting up on his own. Your mother has been helping take care of him while she has been busy. And the dinner is pretty good. I would need a roll from you during this time frame before you drop the hammers, or anything like that with her. Or if you just say, let's go for a walk afterwards, however you want to phrase it. I still need an overall roll of your diplomacy to make sure she doesn't suspect you of anything. And this will go towards your victory condition for influencing her.
So I am actually looking at her like for that minute to activate my pursue a lead.
Okay.
And my lead is like she's my suspect. Like how is she involved in this?
Yeah.
And in doing so, I don't know if I can do this.
Meanwhile, Oliver's all smiles and
All smiles and happy. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so good to see you, Mr. Hastings. I'm glad you're back in Cadra. Your name is cleared, sir. We all respect you. The fact that creature crashed that ship into the dock is such a horrible thing for you to go through." And they're all like playing it up how it was like traumatizing for Oliver, because that is how press played it up.
So I think that we're in the so while we're in there, so I want to say, like, before we headed out, we did all of this stuff. I actually showed Edward and Oliver what the device looked like.
Okay.
And I said I would have it in a book because it is actually small enough to fit in a book. So I'm going to do clue in, where I can share information with a triggering creature, Oliver, as he sees me pull out that book and set it on the table. And you get a +1 from me.
Because why not give him more bonuses to his ridiculousness?
32.
That's a crit. That's 2 more towards it. You have her at 6 out of 8 in total between all of the time you've had with conversations together. And now I would like one other. I think I need, if you have any bonuses, I need a deception roll as well for you as you're trying to hide everything that is going on. I don't know how good you are at deception, but he's like, don't worry, I got skills for that as well.
Yeah, not as good as diplomacy or intimidation.
Does that +1 count for that as well?
I can do it once per. I can use it as a reaction, so I can do it.
Do you want to do it again sometime during this dinner? All right, you get another +1.
So then I like knock on it as I'm like writing with some others. Like I knock on it and then I set it aside and I'm like writing something else. But I'm also recording their conversation because.
Oh, you have the recorder going?
Yes, because I don't know if anything's going to change after they're done with their dinner.
That device is decent sized, isn't it?
No, it can fit in jewelry.
What?
Yes, it is a small recorder that can fit. It's because it's a wax cylinder. It can fit in like large pieces of jewelry, but it can fit in like a large box, or it can fit in like a book-sized spoon.
Pen.
I mean, if I didn't already have a Call-Iron fountain
007.
pen. I may need to get another one for a fountain pen. Yes.
How much data does it record?
Up to an hour's worth of conversation.
So you have multiple of these cylinders that you just stick in it. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah. As you like change it out, you probably had to change it at least once. It's probably like a 2-hour dinner, so you probably change it. I'm not worried about the money, so you change it out during it. Can I get a? I'm assuming you don't want her to know. Can I get a sleight of hand from you to do this?
So thievery or stealth?
Yeah, thievery. Sleight of hand's under thievery.
Okay.
29 for my deception.
I got 30 for my sleight of hand. Thank goodness.
So her back is to Nora, and Nora is doing all this stuff, and she's talking to you, and she's super happy about the dinner. She talks about little Edward a lot, like really trying to draw you into the stuff that's been going on. Not like I need your pity, but like he's doing well. Your mother has been the biggest help. Moving to the estate has been the best thing that I could have done. I was really thinking with the month that it is, I would love to do something in honor of your brother. I mean, obviously, there was the cases that were involved in what happened, and that was so sad, but I really would like to do something to honor his name. So I'm having a statue built for him to put at the fountain. There's the plaque already. I don't feel it's enough. You know?
Can I roll perception to see if this is an act?
Yeah, give me a roll. Yeah, absolutely. Oliver, you're welcome to as well.
Since I'm in the room.
Yeah.
You're full of shit.
I got 30.
Okay. Oliver?
7.
7, she's honest. She shows you sketches of it. It is from Lizal Bonet, who is a super well-known sculpture artist. Nora's like, I've tried to get that guy booked for other stuff. There's no fucking way she has that guy doing anything. He is at least 3 years out. That is bullshit. Unless she planned this like right when he died, not happening.
Okay.
Even if you threw your wealth at him, you still couldn't get it in less than a year. Maybe 2. But there's something about her tone, like she is prying Oliver to test something. And she says, she's like, Oliver, but I do have a gift for you since you've been gone for so long. And she sets down a little package on the table. It's a little jewelry box about that big.
Oliver will take it.
Okay. She says, I got this, since you travel so much, I wanted us to be able to talk to each other. So I spent a little extra money. Your mother said it was way too much to spend, but I've been saving and I've been working hard. But every day we can speak to each other for a short period of time. She tells you that you can speak up to 25 words to her every day, and she can do the same back. So instead of writing these letters every day, we can actually have a brief conversation.
That'll be so refreshing.
It's so hard not hearing from you for months on end. And I like the ethergraph helps, but this would be at least your voice and not a spirit mimicking ours.
I was wondering, would you be willing to take me by the mural or the placard of Edward?
Statue? Oh, absolutely. I don't think he has a statue there yet, but the pedestal that he goes on, I know is intact and is ready.
I haven't seen any kind of marker for my brother there yet since I was sent off to...
It's recent, within the last month. And if you've been gone, there's no way you would have seen it. But let's finish dinner and go.
Let's go.
So she says, can we get the dessert to go? We're going to take a walk. And they're like, of course, madam. And they come in and they box everything up and they put the lava cake, because, you know, that's what rich people eat, even though it's like the worst fucking dessert. And they put it in lava cake in and they box all of it up, and she gets her jacket and puts it on, and she gets ready to head out. And then you walk by Nora's table. When she walks by Nora, she bumps the table with her hip, like walking by, pretty hard. Like intentionally. Nora, I need a perception check from you. She like fake faints a little bit. Or maybe really faints.
Spending a...
Was that a hero point?
Hero point?
A hero
Yeah.
point, all right, yeah. Sweet. I like it. It makes me happy to hear.
I got a natural 20 on that one.
That doesn't make me natural here. So she bumps, she leans over, and she tries to grab the book you were tapping on.
I grab her right away, like, oh, goodness, miss, are you all right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did a little
Before she
faint
can get the book.
since the kid. I apologize, ma'am. And she stands back up and like grabs Oliver to like help herself back up. And she's dressed in a white dress. It's super elegant.
I'm just saying, like, if you need a doctor, I actually
Oh no! I just
can assist. Are you
my
feeling
strength
faint?
isn't my strength isn't fully back. I'm fine. Thank you, ma'am. And she grabs Oliver's arm and starts walking out. You notice the natural 20 that she very stealthily started casting a spell, but you interrupted it when you grabbed her wrist.
Nice. Cool.
As you guys make your way, walking through the beautiful streets of Cadra in winter, as people are shoveling the iridescent snow from the tides that have stained it. I'll take us back to our 2-cam. Nora, I'm assuming you cut your dinner after a few minutes, head there quickly because you all already prepped this to make your way back to the fountain. And then upon arrival, where do you want to set yourself up there?
So real quick, just so you know, I had recorded the conversation that we heard over the ethergraph.
Yeah, of course you did.
I recorded the conversations at the dinner.
Yeah.
I'm putting those cylinders in my satchel of holding, so if she tries to cast something on my recording device, she can't touch the actual recordings.
Sure.
Let's see. Just covering my bases. Shadowrun life.
Of course.
And then I think when I get there, I would actually take a look at. Well, I don't have time.
He's gonna stand here by the tree. Oh, they're strolling there. So you can. Good. I mean, you guys could have set up how much time you want here. He could have taken an hour-long walk with her to get to the fountain, and then taken a cab. Maybe you took a cab, and they took walking.
Since she saw me and tried to fuck with my book, I'm a little concerned.
Mm-hmm. Should be.
I'm going to.
You would know that means she knows who you are.
Right. Hopefully she doesn't think I'm working with Oliver because I'm still pretty hot about that.
I don't know.
Although she's been tracking him, so who fucking knows? And she's had access to his bomb.
And Oliver, make sure you drag yourself onto this map as well, please.
I wanna look at that placard, but I don't know if I'm gonna have the time. Like, I'm trying to see if the placard's actually there.
Between the two of you, how much time do you want to set up to give Nora time? Like an hour? Like, if you took a cab and they walked, it'd be like an hour.
Yeah, an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Because now that she knows who I am and that I've been there, and that she tried to fuck with my book, like, I don't know if she's going to try and bum rush this walk at all. So I just want to take a look at the plaque real quick.
All right. So you do notice there's a plaque.
Is the plaque actually there?
There has been a plaque here for his brother the entire time. We have discussed that before. In memory of Edward Hastings, and it would have 57 AS, the 15th of Spite. And that would be on there. But what you don't see any statue pedestals anywhere.
Cool.
But there are like all the normal seating areas, all that kind of stuff. So here, I'll take us over to the map. So let's put yourself where you'd want. She would be definitely walking with you down the path. Edward is over here. Hiding.
I don't want to be by him, so I would be hiding.
Well, you could be in any of the trees over here, and it's pretty busy. Like, there's a lot of people here. And as long as you are being stealthful, aka give me a roll. As we see how this goes. There's no way this goes well. So I just don't.
27?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Let me see here. That would be versus hers. Passive, right? No, roll. No, passive. Passive for her. Are you rolling or are you taking passive?
I mean, if I take passive, I'm a 25, so I rolled.
Okay, you roll. Right, so I'll roll as well. All right. As you walk in, she's super happy. The conversation has been very jovial between you two. How she's missed you, feeling very distant. She would love if you came and stayed at the estate for some time with young Edward to help raise him. Even if he is not your kid, it is what Edward would want. Edward Jr. would want. And it's definitely what Edward Sr. would want. So she's trying to like convince you that you should not quit, but take a leave of absence maybe from the Air Guard, from being an Air Marshal. I feel like Alan's had this conversation in real life at some point in time.
I cannot disregard my duties, unfortunately.
That's not a disregard, but like just you had a kid. Could you take like a little bit of a paternal leave?
There's still much work to be done in Merrifield, especially after the events that transpired there.
Oh, yes. I heard about the city vanished and is now back. I've been meaning to ask you about that as you guys are rounding the bend, and then there's that pedestal that comes up where people walk up that snowy platform and throw coins, gales into the pond or into the fountain, and she rounds it with you, and she points to the plaque. The plaque was already here, and she points across from the plaque over here where this snowdrift is at. I need a will save from you, Oliver.
22.
Are you happy with it?
I don't like that question.
I'm just asking before I say anything.
I got 1 hero point left. I'm going to save it.
All right. So you look over, sure enough, out of the snow, there's a pedestal that has been shoveled around. It's this nice marble pedestal with hands on each side of it. On the one hand, in the palm, is another placard that has Edward's name on it in loving memory. And it has her name and your name below it in loving memory, purchased and brought by,
Did I
Marianne
see
Potts.
that?
No, you did not. Marianne Potts and Oliver Hastings. And then on another one of the hands, as you walk around, it has the story of who he is. On the other hand, it has one about the Hastings family. And then on the back part of it, you see the symbol that's like etched into one of the hands. And I need a second will save.
I'll hero point that.
Okay.
Here we go with Oliver. 0 hero points yet again.
Hey, I'm fine with it.
Not 20.
Woo!
You see the plaque and you see the sun symbol that yours is, but it is the reverse, like a mirror on water of the moon. You know it is the night court or the twilight's court symbol. As it starts to glow, you can feel your back warm and you avert your eyes. And she turns and looks at you and goes, I fucking knew it. I knew it the entire time. As this is going on, Edward has been making eye contact with Nora across the way. Like, what the heck are they looking at? Like, across the fountain. And I think he's probably made his way out of their view around to Nora.
Okay.
Like, there is nothing there. What are they staring
No.
at? They're standing
No,
in a fucking snowdrift.
There isn't, but she tried to erase my recordings.
Listen, do we do the duel or do we just kill her?
Come out and challenge him to the duel before she can do anything else.
Fuck. And he runs out around the back edge and he steps up behind Oliver and puts his hand on his shoulder. And she sees him coming and she's like, Edward? Who is this man? And he's like, brother, we need to talk. Spinning you about. And she's like, well, Edward, you are dead. Who is this man? What is going on?
I mean, with my cover being blown, I make my way with my silver-tipped sword cane and my cold iron pen in my pocket.
Poke,
And
poke.
and the notebook in my
Put
on
this
my
here
on my
so
side.
she
It's
can
not
be
in my satchel,
Seen on
so
screen.
it's still recording. And I go, hello, ma'am. Looks like you've recovered slightly since your fainting incident at the restaurant.
Why is she also here? Oliver, what is going on?
I've actually been hired to investigate Mr. Hastings' apparent death back in 53 AS. Since he is no longer dead, the case has been reopened.
Oliver, I demand to know what is going on.
I just told you what's going on.
I am
Liz.
not asking you, lady. I am asking my fiance, is what she says. Oliver, I need another will save.
Your fiance.
I need another will save.
Fancy that. 30.
Oliver, your emblem glows again. I can tell you that from now on, when someone is trying to enchant you, you have a +4 to your saving throws.
So 34.
And it glows, and you can feel it. And she goes, "What is Oliver? I demand." And you see like the image of the ring on your finger show, but you know it's fake. It's just an illusion.
So, Marianne, there's been some funny instances the past few
Obviously,
years.
Edward is dead. This is not funny.
And he's not really dead anymore. That's Edward.
He goes,
First and foremost.
"How you doing? I just wanted to say I'll be taking my kid back, you fucking bitch." Well, Oliver, I mean, do we need to go through with the plan we had? What are we doing here? And she starts to back away a little bit and like unhooks her arm from Oliver.
I'll clamp.
I need an athletics check if you're trying to hold her in place.
Yeah.
I would have
No.
moved over closer to her.
Yeah, well, that's why she's backing away. Like she knows she's getting surrounded.
No.
I would be trying to surround her.
I know you are. She doesn't want
Natural-
to be.
Natural 20.
What is with you?
Oh, shit. Oliver's sick and tired of getting his heart stopped on, homies.
Fucking Oliver Edward just made one as well. As you like hold her tight, Oliver cocks back and just fucking hauls off and hits her. Edward just boom right in the nose. And you see a psh of like an illusion shatter, and you see this old elven looking woman. And then it like reforms. And he goes, "Yeah, Mom said you might be hiding behind an illusion."
Well, seems as though we have a potential suspect. I pull out my handcuffs and I handcuff her.
She's definitely gonna fight it.
Well, I just need to make
Oh, you
the
got a
one
natural
action
20?
to do it.
Shit. I'm held. You can handcuff me. I can't do anything.
Okay.
And she goes, no, there's nothing here to prove other than the fact that I am being held against my will. This is going to be something that the courts are going to want to hear about. And she looks to Oliver and she goes, "Edward, as for you, assaulting me." And he hauls back again. He goes, "How good's your illusion?" And he's gonna cold cock her again unless anyone stops him. Now, everyone around is starting to turn and watch the scene that is starting to happen.
Edward, not you. Now's not the time.
Oh, you're right. And he switches hand and just backhands her. And the illusion goes, and you see it break, and you see the older woman behind it again, and it starts to fade this time.
Well, you are coming in for questioning.
I will do no such thing. And her voice changes even. Her
Well, be
demeanor
that as it-
changes.
Be that as it may, I am going to attempt to take you in for questioning. You have the right to... I don't actually know if they have Miranda rights.
Yeah, there would be, because there's a yard
Right.
here. There would still
Right,
be
so then
Miranda rights.
I would repeat like essentially the Miranda rights. Like you are now being taken in for questioning. Anything you say can and will be used against you. If you wish to request a representation before meeting with the investigator of the case, like, and I'm saying like she's being held in connection to the disappearance of the attempted murder of Edward Hastings and the attempted murder of Oliver Hastings.
Give me a law roll here. Give me your. I'm
Give me
taking
my
you
lawyer-
in.
My legal lore.
Edward goes, "Where's she going? Cadra? Or are we taking her back to Merrifield? Because I feel that we should take her back there."
I got 28.
Nora, you are the investigator that's leading this this case. Technically speaking, the murder of Edward happened here. It should go to the yard here.
Okay.
You could try to work around and take it back to Merrifield if you wanted, which would just take money from the Hastings to basically move where the trial is going to happen.
Okay. Then I would let them know that, at least for right now, we need to turn her into the nearest station. But with a little bit of a monetary donation, I should say, or paying for legal fees, we can get her extradited to Merrifield.
Well, I would love to do it there. Wouldn't you?
I think
Yes, I would.
Merfield would be the best option, and perhaps while we have her waiting with the yard, we provide a little bit of additional security as an air marshal to make sure that no funny business happens.
Oh, I think that you can try to hold me, but I don't know how well that's going to work. As soon as the sun sets, I will not be here.
Interesting.
So unless you have a way to stop that. And Edward goes, does death stop that?
Oh, that's a good counterpoint, actually.
She goes, oh, you were going to kill me? He's like, I mean, I came here to duel.
I wonder if a daylight lantern is as good as daylight itself.
She looks at you and she goes, don't. And he goes,
don't.
oh, so do? Edward goes, do it? Well, I mean, we have plenty of those on the Whisper. And he goes and whistles, and you see the Whisper come over top of the plaza. He goes, I mean, we do have to transport her. We might as well take her up to the Whisper, right?
We could. Can we actually hold her in the Whisper until we can do the paperwork to get her transferred to Merrifield?
Yeah, you can definitely delay install.
Excellent. That's what we're doing.
So,
I feel it is in the best interest of this investigation to hold Miss Potts on the Whisper temporarily until we can get permission to extradite her to Merrifield.
Fine. I see how this is going to be. It's going to be drawn out. Well, I have the years to do this. I don't know if all of you do. Let's go. If that's what you wish. And one of the skiffs would come down. Now a crowd is forming. It's like the Whisper is here, the Hastings symbol's on it. One of the skiffs come down with a Hastings symbol on it. And people are going, oh my, what is going on? Oh, it looks like someone is being taken in. He smacked that woman twice.
I feel like I've been fairly vocal about especially if any yard members show up, like I'm telling them, like, this is in connection with the apparent death, the murder attempt on both Oliver Hastings.
I think there would be whisperers and you'd hear sirens in the background. That is something off camera that you would definitely handle and tell them, like, here's what's going on. And Edward looks to Oliver and goes, I just feel like, if anything, at least the kid is with the right person, which is Mother. I mean, she raised two fine gentlemen, and he backhands her again, shattering the illusion. And he takes the glove off, and the glove is solid chainmail when he pulls it off his hand instead of being leather. And he sets it down, and it is a dueling glove made to break enchantments. He goes, Dad gave this to me quite some time ago. I figured, why not use it now since I can't trust her? Elven, Fey, lineage, whatever it is you are. She goes, this will go to the courts. And everyone's like, oh, people are mentioning courts. And he goes, next backhand is not going to be protected.
She keeps saying this is going to go to the courts. Can I roll for that as well?
Sure. Oliver, do you want to give me a roll?
Oliver's actually going to lean in.
Oh, to her? Okay.
It's going to go to the courts. I wonder how they're going to react when a Miss Quaddlefeather and another feather magically wound up in a position.
Give me an intimidation roll, Oliver. And I'll give you a plus. I'll give you a +2 for actually mentioning the two Quaddle feathers.
I was gonna do the clue in to give him a +1 and just be like,
sure.
It'd be a shame to find out that this was unsanctioned.
Yeah. The wavelengths are back. We fixed the bridge.
Give me a roll.
Oh hell yeah!
It's not a natural 20. It can't be another one.
It's a 16. That's still a 33.
That's enough to put her into the VC of 8 for your victory conditions, because that is a crit versus her by 1. So good job, Nora. She goes, huh. All right, then we will talk away from the prying eyes and ears of these miscreants. And she like does that, like with her hands in the cuffs, talking about the people around. And Edward goes, oh, you mean the lovely citizens of Cadra that know the Hastings family for all the good they have done? The name you have stained? And he like pokes her in the forehead. He's like, I think that prison is going to suit you well. It's better than facing time in, I don't know, hell or wherever the true faith sends people like you. Because, brother, I guess we don't need to duel today, but I gotta say, it feels good to stick it to her after all these years. See, while I was dead and trapped to the ship and my memories were hazy, every time I would rest, I would remember shit about you and I could not figure it out. It all makes sense now. Makes good sense. But man, you think the wrath of the three of us is bad? And he looks to Oliver and he goes, what do you think Mom's gonna do? Mother is going to be furious.
Furious. Yes, she is.
I mean, she would take the time to raise your own kid against you. Damn. It's gonna be a good
courts.
It's gonna be a good few years. It's gonna be a
So
I do hope you have some access to legal representation, ma'am.
Oh, I do. I will send for somebody immediately.
I would die if she sent for that elven investigator.
That's probably who he would send for because she's part of the Twilight Court and she doesn't know that has happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but you know who my friendly NPC is, right?
Yes. So here's what we'll do. I think to close this out as we cut. I'll cut us over to like 2 months later, near the end of our year of downtime, right? And I think what you see is Nora in a courtroom with Oliver and Edward sitting on one side, and the other side is that elf who's now in your graces and hired. And he sits down with her and she looks fucking furious, but she's mad because the real Marianne Potts is on the stand. During all of your research that has happened, you know that assassins of the Fae Court steal the identities of someone else and put them in a trance. She talks about being stuck in an hourglass for years and she doesn't understand what was wrong. That her memories were very hazy, like she was in and out of sleep. And you're easily able to explain that a Sandman was involved and put her in an hourglass. And you do notice subtly that the other lawyer is throwing stuff your way that can be used against her to close this case without her knowing. I rolled a 19, so he did this well. Nice. And as that closes, the arguments close down and they take their recess and the council votes on what's going on. The jury, votes on what's going on. He would come over to you and she's taken away in cuffs again and they have a daylight lantern hung around her neck. Yikes. And takes it away, says, good job with the daylight lantern. You can't sleep with it, which made her very shaky for the case. I don't think she's actually had a full night's sleep in 2 months. Made this much easier. The jury is definitely going to vote her as guilty. The other Marianne will be given her freedom. Just so you know, Oliver and Edward, you originally met this Marianne, the one that was on trial. The one that has been pulling strings against the Twilight Court's word is a sibling of hers, very similar to the circumstance you're in. She was born into the Fae world, and her mother took her, the real Marianne, and left this Marianne behind I don't have the details, nor would I be allowed to share them, but what I can tell you is it is because she was a danger to people in the material and to Cadra and Ingrad as a whole. And the courts decided to keep her there and train her, hoping to fix the problem. And they, with deep apologies, she had found a way to release herself from her training. And he says training in a way where you're like, training means captivity, right? Like, that's what it sounds like. It's like they were hoping to fix these problems. But the real Marianne has asked if it would be okay to start over with the two of you. At least meeting you and who you are. That is obviously up to you and your brother, and can be handled after the court case. Good job, Miss Tenwick, as always. And he kind of gives you the nod, like, I'll see you back on the fucking train, that kind of thing.
Right.
And the court case comes out, and they deem her guilty. She is sent back through the veil in the courtroom. That her lawyer opens the veil and pushes her back through into Twilight. You see Twilight guards, these dark-skinned elves with like starlight hair, grab her and pull her back in. They make eye contact with the lawyer and they nod. And there's some subtleties said in Elven, but nothing other than like proper, I am handing off this assassin to you. Do you take this assassin back into your custody? We take her back into our custody. The contract has been forwarded to you. That is what is said in Elven, and they give her over. Which would leave us with our last scene. The ribbon getting cut and Marianne being there wasn't this Marianne. It was the real Marianne. My closing question to Oliver and the team is, what is going to happen to Edward Jr.? Does Mother take care of it? Do you ask Marianne to do it? For comfort of it looking like a mother? Does she take on the role of being the mom? How would the group like to handle this as we close out our side quest, our second side quest for season 2? Also, we're never under an hour with these two. It never happens.
I was gonna say I also wanted to have a little scene after this with Oliver, but sorry.
It's okay. They're getting extra content. It'll be all right.
Right. As far as the kid's concerned, I really... Nora would kind of look down and then look at Kristoff and then look to Oliver and Edward.
Oh, yeah, because you guys would be standing on the train during this as they're cutting the ribbon.
Right. And be like, I understand it might be difficult. I would not ask Marianne necessarily to raise the child as her own, but to still be a presence in their life. I feel that it is too dangerous for a child to be in either lifestyle if Edward decides to take to the skies again, but
well, Edward
I do
would
feel
say,
like you both should be involved.
I don't need to be part of the Hand of Air. Technically, I died, and I only have to reinstate if I wish to. That happens anytime someone is resurrected, unless you are of a really high stature. I'm not opposed to taking care of the kid. I'm not saying Marianne has to be involved. She has no idea what has happened. None. But I think between myself and Mother, I think the kid could be good. And Oliver, obviously. We're both... One of us is its dad. I mean, it looks like me, so it's probably me, but... I'm just saying... If this is the case, we need at least the guidance of Mother if this Fae thing is blood-related. Because we just mixed 2 courts, and I don't know what happens with that.
Mother's going to need to be involved, I agree. I think just to make sure that the child receives proper care and upbringing that isn't directed solely on spite and retribution, you should probably also be there.
So here's the odd question I have. As he looks past the crowd as the ribbon's getting cut. And you guys are like having this like conversation between all of you. And you're waving and giving like the wave, like the conversation no one got to see on camera, right? Like, hey, everybody, yeah, we're cutting the ribbon. He looks past to where the lantern is in the center of the town. He goes, what if me and Edward Jr. were to move here? There's no safer place than the actual lantern itself. And we're allowed to go and come as we want as long as the town is out.
Technically true, and the rest of the family's already going to be on the train, so I don't see a problem with that.
Well, that's the train. I don't want to be on the train. I want to be in the town. I'll purchase a spot, build a home, and it can go and come with the house. And if Marianne is interested, since her home was no longer hers, she may not want to live there anymore. I could ask if she's interested.
If nothing else, Oliver, them being in the lantern, they'll be protected by Inquisitor Pyre. You won't have to worry about Inquisitor Briar coming after them.
Yeah, at least Pyre is in the lantern and realizes you didn't make the decision to kill him, is what he had said earlier.
This is something that we need to talk about. But
and everyone's like, yeah, and you hear the engine go as the engine starts up for the train.
And Oliver's just like, wait a minute.
Christoph looks to Nora and goes, I have a feeling this conversation is something you guys should have away from the crowd.
yes.
I'm going to go tend to Jin. We've been working on a way to fix his problem. Have fun with this, Mom. And he turns around and walks away like, good job fucking laying this shitty egg. And he turns around and walks off, leaving you two to have a discussion. So you said you wanted a closing scene with this. I am totally fine with that. Is this in Nora's new office? Or is this in like one of the really high-end train cars having like dinner a second time?
I think this would be in Nora's office.
In the city or on the train?
On the train, because she feels safe there.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to hide when it's always moving. Check.
True.
All right, so what does this new office look like since it's pretty much done? It's finished. The paint's probably still wet.
Right. I mean, we discussed it briefly in the first session, but it's basically the double-decker.
Yep.
It's all bookshelves that can be closed and the books are strapped in.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably at this point another little recorder to play back everything that has been recorded during this side quest for investigative purposes.
Yep.
Definitely some study spots for the people that she is slowly hiring onto her PI business, including a cubby that would be large enough for an Atomas detective, should that ever come across, or if Everson wants to do his own research in some place that's a little bit quieter.
Yep.
And then there's just a little bunk or something for someone to collapse if they needed to step out of their body and rest for a little bit.
Okay. Fair.
So not a lot in the sleeping comfort, but everything else for doing studying, hard work, staying up, working late hours, that kind of stuff, that's all there.
So what's this final scene that Nora wants to have with Oliver? Is it killing him?
She still keeps her back to the wall,
mm-hmm.
and keeps him in front of her at all times.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't trust you, Oliver. But I have been informed of some new evidence stating that perhaps it was not you who tried to kill me at the manor. That the force that interfered with your duel with Edward may have been hovering or clinging to you like smoke that won't come out of your smoking jacket. Since then, Inquisitor Pyre and I had a very interesting but brief conversation during our investigation of Miss Potts. He could sense something guiding your actions when you ordered his death. And I don't think he would have told me that if he didn't believe it. So, with that in mind, I'm going to try to let my guard down again. It may take some time. I may backslide. I'm a very stubborn person. I've built up 40 years plus of bad habits. And that was after I already developed 30 years of bad habits.
That's a lot of bad habits.
But I want to try and make things work. Not only for the sake of the Whisper and us as Gravelighters, but us as friends.
I appreciate that, Nora. I know, with everything that's transpired, with the length of time, it's for the first time, words seem to escape me. And I just want to say thank you for giving me a second chance.
Hopefully, it turns out well. And hopefully, we can find out what was guiding your decisions, if that hasn't already been broken.
Agreed.
That being said, please take care in decisions that you make in the heat of the moment.
I'll take that to heart.
We have a lot to discuss, and I have a lot of notes to go through, and I had a lot of transcribing. So if you're up for it, you want to go over these recordings with me?
Absolutely.
So I think as you guys begin, both of you start looking over the recordings and taking notes and discussing the inflections of tone and what is said and the things from the past that all start to merge back together. The camera slides across the outside of the train as it's taking off to Kristoff standing in front of Jin in a cage in his Barghest form. And he reaches down in a side satchel similar to the one Nora has, because he works with you now, and it has whatever Nora's new investigative logo is. And he reaches in and he pulls out a black wrapped item, and he unwraps it, and you see the broken blade from the Sword of the Tides get pulled out. The one that Loretta snapped and left in ruin. And he leans into the cage and he goes, Jen, I don't know you very well, and this sword is weaker than it used to be. But I have a feeling that between myself and Voss, we'll get you turned back. And he touches the Barghest once, and you see the face of the Barghest go from that wolf style back to Jin for a minute. And he draws it away, and the blade is like an inky black right now. And he rewraps it and puts it back in there. And he looks out the door. He's like, all right, Voss, let's get this done. Because if we don't, I'm afraid that this man isn't going to make it much longer. He reminds me of somebody I saw in the pendulum. Voss would just nod. And he would hand off the broken blade to Voss to do with what he wants for the next couple of months of downtime that we have. So we'll close there for side quest. With a little bit, the beginning of a merger of healing between Nora and Oliver. It's not 100%, but it's on the way. Don't worry, Oliver, you live longer than you thought. You're Fae now, so maybe there'll be enough 70 years to fix it. And your kid will be nice and old by then, or Edwards. But I hope you guys enjoyed side quests. We love doing these. This was a 2-hour one. I can't put these 2 on screen and not have it be 2 hours. It's like they need an hour piece. It's just how it goes. We had a really tight, nice, fucking clean one last time, and then we all just got into this too deep. So welcome to drama class, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. That's it for side quests. I hope you watch all the rest of them. If you missed anything from our season, please follow us on YouTube. All of our side quests go up there, along with all the replays for our live shows. We are currently going into our 3rd episode, right, for season 2 already?
Yes.
3rd episode for season 2 already. Our 2nd side quest, and we have a lot to uncover, as they have just found out a plethora of new things that have been going on in the background between the king of Wolflock Valley and the True Faith. So I will see you all next Tuesday as we bring episode 3 online, and we start to deal with the true king of Wolflock Valley. Have a great night, everybody. And as always, the tides will find you.
Have a good one, everyone. Good night.
Bye. Thank you for watching the first episode of the season 2 of Side Quest. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 here. And of course, remember that the tides will find you.